Chapter 1. The Birth of a Legend. In a land where endless steppes stretched to the horizon, and silver rivers shimmered under the sun, a boy named Gordy Yarev was born. From the start, he was different. He could read people's intentions with uncanny accuracy and sometimes glimpsed fragments of the future in his dreams. His tribe was small but fierce, surviving on courage, horses, and cunning. Gordy knew that alone, they would be crushed by neighboring warlords. But united, they could protect their lands and build something greater. He began with small victories, defending villages, negotiating with neighboring tribes, forming alliances with wandering clans. Word of his wisdom and bravery spread, and soon he was more than a chief. He was a figure people looked to for hope. Chapter 2. Uniting the Steppes. Gordy created a code called the Honor of the Ottoman. It was simple: loyalty, bravery, and justice above all. He believed that true power was earned through respect, not fear. The neighboring kingdoms tried to crush him, fearing the rise of this small tribe. But Gordy's genius lay in surprise and strategy. He used the rivers, forests, and steppes to his advantage, striking swiftly where enemies were weakest. By the time they realized it, he had united dozens of tribes under his banner. Gordy established the first Ottoman Council, a group of trusted advisors, strategists, and warriors who would later become the backbone of the empire. By the time of his death, the Ottoman realm stretched across the northern steppes, a land feared and respected in equal measure. Chapter 3. The Golden Age. After Gordy's passing, his son Danil Yarev inherited the leadership. Danil was bolder than his father and more ambitious. He expanded the empire to the eastern forests and southern rivers, building fortified cities and trade hubs along key routes. The empire flourished. Trade caravans carried silk, grain, honey, and horses from one end of the realm to the other. Schools for warriors and strategists were established, ensuring that knowledge and honor passed to the next generation. Festivals celebrated victories, and songs about the Ottoman warriors echoed in villages far and wide. But prosperity brought envy. Neighboring kingdoms plotted to invade. Secret sects within the empire whispered dissent, and shadowy figures in Danil's own court sought to seize power. Chapter 4. War and Betrayal. The Great Ottoman War began. The enemy kingdoms, united for the first time in decades, descended upon the empire. Villages burned, rivers ran red with blood, and steppes once teeming with life became battlefields. The deadliest threat, however, came from within. Fedor Gromov, a trusted general, secretly allied with the enemy, hoping to claim the throne for himself. He sabotaged supply lines, leaked military secrets, and plotted to turn Danil's own commanders against him. Danil faced a grim choice: hunt the traitor immediately and risk weakening the army, or wait and risk betrayal at the worst moment. Using cunning, he set a trap. On neutral ground, where the enemy dared not intervene, Fedor was captured and brought before the council. Justice was swift, and his treachery became a warning to all. No one, not even the closest, could betray the empire without consequence. Chapter 5. Decline of the Empire. The empire survived the war, but it was scarred. The golden cities had burned, trade had slowed, and many clans returned to their old rivalries. Danil's descendants struggled to maintain unity. Some rulers sought power through force rather than honor. Others fell to disease and famine. Over generations, the Ottoman Empire weakened. Borders shrank, fortresses crumbled. The once feared armies became small bands protecting isolated villages. Eventually, After a century of glory, the empire dissolved into smaller principalities, each claiming a piece of the former lands. Yet the legend endured. Stories of Gordy and Danil Yarov, of honor, loyalty, and courage, survived in songs and tales. Even former enemies remembered the Ottomans not as conquerors, but as leaders whose vision and wisdom shaped the steppes for centuries. Epilogue. The spirit of the Ottomans. Though the empire no longer stood, its legacy lived on. Children learned the tales of the Ottoman code. Heroes were judged not by the lands they conquered, but by the justice they upheld. And travelers in the steppes, wandering past the ruins of old fortresses, whispered that the spirit of the Ottomans still watched over the land, guiding those brave enough to dream of unity, honor, and freedom. In the end, the empire's greatest achievement was never its walls, armies, or cities. It was its idea. That one person with vision and courage could change the course of history.